Greetings out there in YouTube land. This is Morris, man. As always, I thank you guys for coming to my channel. From time to time, I'll share interesting personal stories because, to observe people is quite interesting. It really is. And I don't claim to be perfect or know everything. And everybody that knows me know that I'm a pretty easy guy to get along with. I'm a very helpful guy. And my dear friend Joe, rest in peace, passed away, I think it was November last year. We had the kind of relationship that we would just tell each other about each other in a very daring way. It wasn't we was being real negative or disrespectful. And he told me this. He said, "You know what? One of your problems is, or your problem is, you're too nice to people, man. Sometimes you gotta tell people f them. Really, because they don't care about you. So therefore, you shouldn't care about them." And he was right. I had this issue that I talked about as far as keeping your word. I had to sever three 20-year plus relationships or friendships as a result of this. And some people are like, "Oh, well, why are you cutting these people off? You tripping, Morris, man, because of this." It's the principle, because again, I'll go to the farthest ends of the world to help my friends and my family. And these same people that I've helped countless amount of times, and I extremely, on rare occasions, I ask for somebody's help, and when I do, I pay them. It's not I'm just asking. So whenever every blue moon shows up and I need a favor, I must really need that favor done. And these three individuals blew it off. I'm like, okay, that door is closed, and it ain't never being open again. Because I'm at the stage of my life, I'm tired of this nonsense. You just expect people to do what you do for them. Just that simple. You don't want to hear any excuses. I got busy. I forgot. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that, because you didn't hear that from me when you kept come to me on numerous occasions for help, So I'm like, I don't want to hear that. I'm tired of that. So goodbye, and I talked about my neighbor, he moved in about a year ago. And like I said, I get along with everybody, I first knew right out the gate I was going to have a problem with him because you try to be neighborly. I see him, he's new. I try to speak to him, acknowledge him, and he turning his head and on the phone and walking off like he don't want to be bothered. Fine. You just one less dude I got to speak to in the daytime. I don't have a problem with that. And he's real anal about his grass, put signs on there, don't walk on the grass. And don't nobody walk on the grass but the postal people. And I'm like, I'm not even thinking about that. I'm more concerned with you delivering my mail, and I appreciate that you deliver my mail every day. Rain, sleet, or snow, you're there and you bring me my information and the things that I need to conduct business. I appreciate you for that. So you stepping on the grass ain't gonna kill that. It's like, and this is where we had our issues. Like I told you guys, I have a soft spot in my heart for animals. And I've had these cats around. These cats were here when I moved here, and they're going to be here when I leave. The lady that lives 2 doors away said, them cats been around here. She's been here for 40 years. She said, them cats been running around here for about 20 plus years. So nothing's going to change that unless, animal control come out diligently and try to round up these animals and neuter or spade them. But that's not going to happen in this neighborhood, okay? Don't live in that kind of neighborhood, unfortunately. But he came over one day, and I've not said this story before, so I'm speed this up because there's more to it. Came over one day and said, "Well, got these cats running around in my yard." So what you want me to do about it? Those ain't my cats, and you know that. I'm like, you need to call animal control because I don't have any control over those animals. They're not gonna listen to me. Still, if they do great, that ain't gonna happen. So I'm like, it was just a lot of God to even ask me this. It's like, so I supposed to take care of it because you upset because cats running around? That's not my problem, man, And there was a little water hole in his grass. And my wife mentioned this because I didn't even notice it. She said, he plugged up that little hole so they can't get water. I looked out there and said, I'll be doggone. They already got a rough life and you're going to make it more rougher or more difficult, All this is about your grass and you and what you want. So this is the reason why I'm telling this story or adding on. So it was a thunderstorm the other day and branches came down. And I had one big branch in my yard. He had some in his, and then he had one that was technically in his. And I looked up and he didn't kind of moved it a little bit towards my area, but still in his yard, and he won't move it. I was like, come on, man. Aren't you grown? And then another issue, and then I'm going to sign off. Sometimes we get sales papers, because every day I get the daily paper. And then the guy normally usually throw it in my yard. So these guys are coming, they throw out flyers, sale papers from stores, various stores. So they threw one in his yard, in his driveway, walkway, pathway. Now I seen it there. The next day, it was kicked over in my yard. For some reason, when he get papers, they'll sit out there for like a week. And he'd be out there mowing the grass and just mow around. I'm like, do you got issues with papers and picking them up? And I find that interesting because you're the same guy that won't let dust get on your grass before picking it up. You know, you out there every day with your shovel or your rake and the lawnmower and the cutters and the tweezers or whatever, but yet you won't pick up paper. You know, so I looked out there and seen the paper in my grass, and I know he kicked it over here. I was like, you know what? I'm very tired today. I'm mentally exhausted, so I'm not going to get into it with a grown man about a newspaper that was in his yard, and it was meant for him. So I just became the bigger person and just picked it up and threw it in the garbage, because I'm like, I got enough stuff to deal with today that's legitimate. You know, so I refuse to take a step backwards and be childish and immature and kick papers back and forth from house to house, you know. I look forward to the day to moving to the woods. I mean, really, you know. I'm moving. You know, I'm separating myself from this because I shouldn't have to deal with this. I'm tired of dealing with this. You know, you can't get people to agree on the simplest things. You know, they want to make this complicated when it shouldn't be a problem in the first place, you know. Like I said, I don't have all the answers, and I know I'm not a hard guy to deal with or get along with. You know, I try to be considerate to my fellow neighbors. You know, I do things sometimes that people don't even notice I do because I know they have to be done or they might cause a problem if it doesn't get done. You know, maybe everybody don't have that foresight, you know, because no two people are the same. They're not. So, you know, I don't assume things. I'm like, I don't know. But I'm going to do this to prevent this because I know that this is going to be a problem if nobody addresses this. And it shouldn't become a problem, you know? It shouldn't. So on that note, I'm going to sign off until next time. Take care.